Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Bridget. How you guys doing today? Very lovely to see you. Thanks for joining me. So I saw this story a couple of days ago, and I wanted to take my time to look into it properly before sharing it. I mean, it's something that happened here in the UK, and I wanted to look into it deeply before sharing it with you guys. So it's the story of this lady. Her name is Mercy Baguma, and she came to the UK to seek refugee. She's only 34 years old, and she's originally from Uganda. So she came from Uganda to the UK to seek asylum, and she was working previously, but she lost her job because her right to work expired. You know how the UK is with anywhere in the diaspora. You need to have a right to work permit, or whatever you want to call it, before they allow you to work. So unfortunately, her right to work in the UK expired, so she could not work. She was living in a place called Glasgow, which is in Scotland, and she had a son, a 1-year-old son, which she had with a young man of 34 years old called Eric Nana. I don't know if that's a Nigerian name. Sorry, I'm butchering it. I don't know how to pronounce it very well. But it just says that that's the father of her child. And what happened is that this lady was found in her flat. She was found days later. The baby was screaming. The baby was sitting next to her and basically crying. And it was the tears of the baby that they heard. And the baby had been starving for days. By the time they were found, the baby had been starving for days. Unfortunately, this lady, Mercy Baguma, had passed on. So it was just the baby sitting next to her and just crying and crying and crying. And the news says that she passed because she didn't have food. It was starvation. I mean, that was something that was so incredible for me when I heard the news, and I was like, oh my God. Now, I will give my opinion at the end of the video, but let me just paint a picture about what happened to you guys. So the baby was now taken to the hospital for treatment. This lady had reached out in June saying that she did not have food. She didn't have food. Remember, June, July was the height of this corona period. That she had reached out to a charity that she did not have food. And they donated food for her in June. But maybe the food ran out because they didn't hear from her again from the 18th of August. That was the last time that anyone, friends and family, had communication with her. Nobody heard from her again from the 18th of August until she was discovered on the 22nd. It was on the 22nd of August that she was found, that the baby was found. And they had to take the baby to the hospital for treatment, obviously, because the baby had been starving. And you know what? It's by the grace of God that God has just said that this boy is going to live, because I don't know how, if a woman cannot survive, then the child will be able to survive in a very terrible condition like this. Yeah. And what the charity has said is that, why are mothers and babies being left to go hungry in the city? And why is it being left to charity and volunteer to pick up the pieces? And the charity also said that, would this mother be alive if she was not forced out of a job by the cruel system that stops you from working and paying your way because a piece of paper says your leave to remain has expired? And they said, I'm sure Mercy's son would want to ask this and other questions once he is old enough. This is really, really unfortunate. I must tell you. Of course, the Home Office is going to call for an inquiry, but this is what they normally do. It's just standard. This is what they do when something like that happens. There's usually an inquiry to find out what happened, what led to it, and if they did the right thing or they didn't do enough. Obviously, they didn't do enough. If they had done enough, then she would still be alive. So it was the boyfriend or the partner said that he's been there to see her. He was there to see her 2 days earlier. He was there to see her, and he knocked for 1 hour and there was no answer. So he assumed that she had moved. He assumed that she has moved. Because when I saw this story, this is the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, where is the partner? What happened to the partner? How can a woman starve so much? Could the partner not have done something to help? Allowed her to starve until... I mean, this is not Africa. This is the UK. Food is cheap. You take 20 pounds to street market, you come back with very heavy bags of shopping. So what is going on here? I don't really know what the situation is between them. Obviously, the boy has been given to the father now to look after. He's been discharged, and he's looking very healthy now. But I felt the system has obviously failed this woman. Yeah, they failed her completely. This is somebody that was coming from an African country to a so-called, advanced country because her own country wasn't good enough. So what's the difference between her country and where she ran to now? What's the difference? There's really no difference, to be honest. There's no difference. The baby was starving. They left the baby to starve for days. And the man was saying, the partner was saying that when he took the baby, that his spine, he could touch his spine. His bones were sticking out. That's how hungry he was. His food, his clothes, everything was stained. His nappy, everything. You can imagine a baby that has not been cared for days. But if only he was able to gain access, or if only he persisted 2 days, before that day, she could have been alive. He would have known that something went wrong. Only 2 days later, they found her, and this has happened. Oh my God, this is really, really sad. And I just have a few talking points here, because this is something that I said, is going to call for a serious case review, because this is a vulnerable adult. She's a vulnerable adult because she's an asylum seeker and she has a child. I'm just going to put it out there, yeah. This UK is the worst country to come to if you are seeking asylum. If you are a refugee, please. I'm not saying this to discourage you. I'm saying this because I know how strict they are in this country. They are just so damn strict that there's no need coming here. It is better for you to go to any other country. Go any other Scandinavian country, European country, if you can find your way to anywhere but the UK. They hardly ever give asylum seekers you are hardly ever successful with your application here. You are likely to be sent back to wherever you are coming from. But something, when I looked at this woman's case, I was like, going back may have been a better option for her. At least if she had gone back to Uganda, maybe she'll be alive today. She'll be alive. I'm sure people are living in Uganda. They are eating and drinking, marrying, and having jobs and living life. It's not. I know the West here like to show woes and tales of hunger and starvation in Africa, but those of us who come from there know that that's not always the case. People live in Africa and they live successfully. Sometimes some people live in Africa and they live better than those who live in the abroad. So I'm just going to put it out there about the refugee situation. Please do not come to the UK if you are seeking refugee or asylum. Don't come here. These people are they are something else. They don't give refugee easily. And the UK is also one of the most difficult places to get your permanent stay. They don't care if you've lived there for 15, 20 years. Theresa May, which was a former, what is her position now? She was the Home Secretary, Home Office Secretary. What she did when she was there, that woman, no wonder what happened to her when she became Prime Minister. That woman she was so heartless. She made it impossible for people to have paper in any way in this country. So, refugee, asylum, please don't come to the UK. I'll put it out there. Number 2, I've already spoken about the father, and I said that, I felt like the father could have done more. That's the partner. He could have done more. I don't know what the status of their relationship is. Obviously, they were not living together. But he had nice things to say about her. That she was very calm, easygoing, and, lovely person. And that's why they started the relationship in the first place. She had a son for him. So he could have been more involved, especially knowing that she was very deprived. She didn't have a job. She couldn't work. She had no papers. So he could have been more, involved, especially because of his son. Go and check up on her. Make sure she has food. Now, the poor woman is gone from starvation. And I know people will be saying, so people are poor in this country, in Europe like that, or in UK like that they cannot even afford food. There is poverty everywhere in the world. Yeah. When you work in social services, you will see correct poverty that even you'll be feeling like, okay, you are living like a king. There's so much poverty, and this is not only to immigrants alone. I'm talking about white British, and we are talking about places like Glasgow in Scotland. It's even worse in areas like that. Interior areas like that, remote areas like that. Glasgow is not that remote, but still, when you go to, places like that, Scotland, Wales, in the interior area like that, it's even worse. There's high level of poverty in the UK. So this is not only for black people or immigrants alone, white British too. They suffer, Babangla suffer gone. Then another thing I'm going to touch on before I finish this video is about information. A lot of African immigrants that come to the diaspora, I don't know, when it comes to seeking information, yeah, I don't want to blame the dead. She's dead. May God rest her soul. It's unfortunate. I wish if they even deported her, like I said, would have been better. At least she'll be alive. She'll have family back home that will look after her. They will give her food at least. That's why sometimes, and you know what? Let us just pray that God should direct us to where our glory is, where we will prosper. Because sometimes coming to the abroad is not always the answer to everything. Some people I know that have been deported, in some cases, they are even better off back home. Some people have even used their 2 left leg and left to go back to Africa, and they are doing way better than they were in the diaspora. So it's neither here nor there. It's just a matter of knowing and asking God to please direct you to where your glory is. Because some people can live in the diaspora forever and they did not achieve anything. They have nothing to show for it. May God not let that be our portion. But I mean, in this case now, it's sad because this woman, this young lady, sadly just lost her life because she was starving. Starving. So the important thing is that we need to get information. A lot of black people can be very, very lazy when it comes to seeking information. We are very complacent, and you just wait for people to give you information. You can't seek the information out there. All the information is online. Google. When you look at your circumstances, how you are, Google that information. What can help you? Okay, I'm an asylum seeker. I can no longer walk. How can I get help? I know they said she went to a charity in June, and they did give her some food. But after that, what happened? When she was running out, there are so many ways that you can get information apart from going online. You know, you can get information by going to Citizen Advice Bureau. They have offices. You can also phone them, and they will give you information about anything that you can think of, even legal issues. You know, they know law firms that do pro bono work that you can, you'll be qualified for legal aids or something like that, that they won't charge you. Some people will not have paper. They will not file for their document. They will just sit down. Maybe there are somebody else's. I'm not talking about this lady. I'm talking generally now as Africans who live in the diaspora, what some people do. You will not have paper. You know that your circumstances is, it's tricky. Anything happens, you are not stable. You are not going to go and file. You will not contact a lawyer. You will just be using somebody else's paper and be working until you stay here 10, 15, 20 years. You need to do something about your circumstances. Please seek for information. Don't be running after looking for work and, sending money or building or doing whatever. You have to stabilize yourself first. So, and also because she had a child, she could have been supported by social services. A lot of people have negative, they have these negative views about social services. And social services, oh, if you go there, they will take your child. This is just wrong information. Completely wrong. Social services don't take your child like that. Nobody's going to take your child. We are not trained to take people's children. It's only when there are cases of, significant harm to the child that there's evidence. And before you can take someone's child, it's a long process. You have to go to court. You don't just walk into somebody's house and, there needs to be evidence before a judge, before they will authorize it. So you can seek help from social services, because if she had that information, she would have known that because that child is considered a child in need, then she would have qualified for support from social services. They would have given her accommodation, and then they would have linked her with other services that will be able to help her. At least to have the basic. Even if she doesn't have money, they will give her food stamps, or they will give her food vouchers, or they will even give her shopping vouchers for her to be buying food weekly. This is what I'm saying about information. Information is power. Please, if you are in a very difficult position like this, don't just keep quiet and cross your leg and, just do something about it. If she had, God rest her, so she had carried that child and gone to any social service. Social services are everywhere in all the London boroughs. Every council has a social services department. Go there and say, this is my child. I don't have money to feed him. I cannot even feed myself. I don't have papers. But because sometimes people are afraid, you think that they will hand you over to the police, they will send you back, they will be hiding. Things like that, you'll be hiding from the authorities. But sometimes it's the authorities that can save you. And I mean, when your situation is so desperate like that, what you should be thinking is that what's the worst that can happen? They will send you back. Is that the end of the world? No, it's not. If they are sent her back, it would have been better now. Look at that now. Such a very sad loss. Please, my people, I'm begging you, if you live anywhere in the diaspora and you know that you've got issues with your documentation, your paperwork is not complete yet, because people go through different things. People have different ways that they come in here, so it takes time to regularize things. But Don't just sit on it and not do anything. You need to take steps. Try and do something about it and make sure that you are receiving the support that you need, because there's a lot of support out there, honestly. But this is medicine after death now. Even if they do inquiry now, they said that they failed them, the system failed her, the home office, they failed and everything. Nothing. What is going to come out of it? What can they do? She's gone already. So please, I'm just going to end by saying that do not keep quiet. There's a saying that in Africa that when you keep quiet, your problems will keep quiet with you. But if you shout it loud and you keep shouting it out loud enough, one day somebody that can help you will hear you and they will help you. So please, do not just keep quiet. Do something. And I pray that whoever is out there that's listening to this have not got their papers, wherever you are in the diaspora, that God will help you. And you too, that you will be able to take the steps to make sure that you're on the right path to getting your paper. And please do not hide away and just, hide away from year to year thinking that a miracle is going to happen. You need to know, get the information and do something while you can, please. I'll speak to you guys in my next one. Thanks a lot for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.
My leaders are showing us money. Uneme.